Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are taking on Crevasse. This is stage 6. This is versus the Defender Z. Now, I did have the same issue in my last video where I forgot to put the extra code on for the force time. So, because I didn't have that code, I get a lot less points here. So I did end up redoing this fight. And to maximize the points, so this team right now is Rinoa, Gladio, and Core, which is a pretty busted team, right? I did make a change on my final run, which ended up getting me 97 points. My final run ended up being the same team, but I just took out Core and I put Ultimisia in. So Ultimisia basically gave me another green crystal and another unique weapon, so it's allowed me to get a little bit more points on my codes. This team though would still excuse me. This team though would still get a pretty decent score. Once again, at the end of this video, I think it ends up only being like 40 points. But that's because I forgot to put that extra code on. With that extra code on, it would have been like 80 something to 90 something points. Would have been a lot better, right? But I figured I did the run. Might as well just show it off here. The strat that I use for this, the Defender Zs are fairly aggressive, so I feel like a character like Gladio works really well here, just have a tank. So like a Gladio or an Auron, I think, work really, really well here. The other thing is, as you can see, they put on some beefy shields, and what's going to happen is when they hit force time, and they force charge very quick. They force charge very, very, very quick, and during their force time, they heal a lot. It's like 2.5 million per turn that they take. So I thought Rinoa was fairly important here. I mean, a Rinoa or a Tifa, something like that's going to be pretty important here. Just because you need to damage them quickly and get them down before they can heal up so much. Taking the slow off-turn approach won't work very well here. I actually attempted that on a previous run. And then what happens is they basically out-heal you. And they actually end up gaining life and you just can't do enough damage. Especially if you don't have the force times to back it up, right? So I think this fight almost requires a force time. If anyone has done this fight without a force time, let me know. Because I feel like this one would be really tough. To do without a force time, just because I don't think you're going to be able to keep up with their healing. Because it's true they only heal during their own force time, but they force charge so quick, they get back into their force time very quickly, right? So this fight I think went pretty well. So my strat for Crevasse, and I do have a Crevasse beginner's guide, I will link that here in case you want to see that. And then in that Crevasse guide, I show my team comps for 427 points. So I did get all of the rewards. Keep in mind for Crevasse, 350 is really what you need to gun for. You don't need that whole 425. I honestly was just shooting for 350. I just did team comps that I thought would make the fights easy. Tried to get as many codes in as I could, but I didn't go for the super optimal, like, 3 crystal of the same type, 3 weapon of the same type fights, which some people have done to get maximum score. And I still was able to get 427. So if you're interested in seeing my full team comp for my finished run, like I said, this run is slightly different. It's just subbing out Core for Ultimisia, which honestly doesn't change this fight too much. I mean, Core does enable a lot more damage during force time, but if you have, or sorry, not Ultimisia. I might have said Ultimisia before too, but I meant Cloud of Darkness this whole time. Cloud of Darkness was that slot that I did for Core. If you have Cloud of Darkness green, which I actually didn't on my run, but if you have Cloud of Darkness green, like, she actually provides a similar role to Core, where with her BT effect, she will provide off-turn damage, and very good off-turn damage. So if you have a green Cloud of Darkness, you essentially just plug her in for Core here, and you're going to be doing good. So in my run, I did it without her green BT and still did it just fine. Wasn't that bad, right? Because Rinoa just blows up the fight anyways. You don't have to have the off-turn. It just gives you a lot more damage more quickly, right? But you can see here, this team is full force enhanced 30, and we're barely like staying even with the force gauge. You can see the enemies charge really fast. So right here, I'm like, all right, I'm going to angel wing up, and I want to get into this force time like ASAP to get it going here. Now, I'm trying to remember what I do next here. We'll see what my calls are. Okay, I did bring Lunafreya, yeah. So bringing Lunafreya Call is really good if she's not in the party. And you want to put Lunafreya Call on your force character. So right here, the call now is going to give her quick prayer and heavy prayer. So now I'm free to go in and do my whole setup here with Rinoa. So now I can take my time and get into my burst phase. So I believe right now I'm going to use the force, and then I go right into burst phase, is what I do. Because I have Ultimate Angel Wing up already. Oh, I did a Brave attack. I don't know. I think that maybe was a mistake on my part. I should have force timed right there, but I didn't. So I'm trying to remember. Maybe because they were into their force. I don't think I decided to let them go through. I think I go into mine. Yeah, I just made a mistake here is what I did. Yep. So on that last turn, I should have gone force first and then gone burst phase. What's going to happen now is I'm going to be giving up turns to my other characters, which isn't the worst because like force time, like I'm going to be getting a lot of off-turn damage. So it's maybe not the worst that I did it like that. Because the enemies are taking a lot of turns, and maybe that's what I decided, because I knew once they hit force time, they're going to be pretty aggressive. So I thought, yeah, maybe I will let the enemies take some turns here, and not rush right into that burst phase. And then I can go into Rinoa's burst phase at higher percentages. So I think that was my strat here, was to go into burst phase at a little bit higher. And then we're getting a bunch of free off-turn damage here. So this actually worked out okay. Now, had I done it the other way, where I'd gone into Rinoa's burst right away, that also would have worked out pretty decent, because even though at the end of my burst phase I wouldn't have had the highest percentage, I would have come out with turns left at a very high percent, and then would have had the off turn after. And I think either way it probably evens itself out. So we're good. And I mean, with Rinoa, the thing is she's so powerful. You can play a little bit sloppy and you're still going to melt the enemies. Like, you don't have to have this super optimized, right? So once again, it's just about understanding this fight and really having the damage to get past their healing. Because you can see as they take their turns, they are healing a lot. But we are countering back with a lot of off-turn damage. But yeah, they're doing like 2 mil per turn, right? Watch, he's going to get a big heal here. Yeah, see, that was like 2.5 mil. That was a lot of healing he just got. So luckily, we're going to be able to counter that back. And then Rinoa is going to do so much damage and just like overwhelm. And we didn't obviously get the full 2 mil back. That's why I don't think off turn is the ideal comp for this. You got to go aggressive here. So T-Far Rinoa is really the way to go if you have them. And then now we're going to go ahead and just start melting. And actually hopping in here at turn 7 is pretty optimal. Because now we're going to hit the burst attack at the highest percent that we can, right? The one bad part is Rinoa's burst effect will fall off like midway through here. So we won't be getting as good of auras, but the damage is still very good. We're good, and we have the ultimate angel wings the whole way through, basically. You just ultimate angel wing through, get 85% per shot. Like, Rinoa's crazy that way. I did decide to use the FR attack. I do feel like it's fairly powerful, and then I just have an ultimate angel wing left over for later, but I think most people would just ultimate angel wing all the way through. I just feel bad letting a free force attack like not be used. I mean, we did 7.5 mil AoE. That's pretty good. We can compare to the ultimate angel wing here. Now this is at 80% more than the last attack. But let's see what this ultimate angel wing does right here. And by the way, I am obviously commentating on a pre-recorded fight. Yeah, it's like 8 mil. So using that force attack actually wasn't that bad. It was very good damage on that, and then we save an ultimate angel wing for later, right? So like I said, with these fights, I pre-recorded them. I did them fairly early, and I forgot to put that. I thought that extra code was just always on there, and that I could choose to change it if I wanted to. But I thought the default one gave you points and it doesn't. So you have to make sure you manually select a code for the force effect that you want to like negate the enemy's force time. And honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's like a 10 mil AoE. Like, Rinoa is just absolutely demolishing. The one thing that could have been a little bit better here is if I would have got into burst phase 1 turn sooner. Because what I like to do is I like to come out of burst and have 1 turn and be like at 800%, and then you pop that brother summon. That brother summon, if you have that optimized, does like a 10 mil AoE shot. And so had that been optimized a little bit, they probably would have darn near died on, like, if I had been able to brothers right now before that force gauge goes away, they would have almost died. Pretty crazy. So they come out with a little bit of percent. It's really just a matter now about just ramping up into another quick force and just finishing them off, right? And I don't remember, we might finish them off without it, but I think we do just ramp up quick and get into another force. Because it's like, yeah, 20%, like the last 20% of a Shinryu fight can be really annoying if you're not in force time. Like, it can take you like a long time to get that down. So I'm pretty sure I just like angel wing up and ramp. Now, you can see it's like a hot minute till Rinoa's even getting a turn here. So we just play the off-turn game for a while, and we actually, I think, burn them down pretty good, because now they're not healing, right? And we definitely have the force advantage at 35% to 1.5. So it's literally just getting to Rinoa, Angel Winging out, and then getting into a force time is all that we would have to do here. So yeah, that's basically the fight. Not too bad, right? Once again, if you're frustrated with Crevasse or you're struggling with it, you can join my Discord. We do have some team building help sections in there. We have a DFFOO section. Ton of content creators in my Discord. You know, I had a couple in there already, like Cross 13, Blind Eye. They were already kind of in there, and then I did the TCC podcast this past week, and then a bunch of the other people from the community hopped in, so that was really awesome. And then Mark and Mino even joined my Discord. Not sure how active they'll be in there. I'm sure they just joined because, you know, to support me or whatever, which is great. But yeah, it's kind of cool. There's a lot of the big names in the community now are in my Discord, so feel free to hop in and be a part of that. We're all really nice in there, all willing to help. Just keep in mind, if you're like a newer player, Crevasse really isn't something you're going to expect to go in and dominate, right? Like, if you're a newer player, I would just say beat the fights you can. Get as many, even if, like, maybe even if you only get like 100 points, because they have like a ton of rewards for like the low point tiers, like, so there's stuff to earn for newer players. Just don't expect to get the 350 or the 425, right? That's just kind of how it is. And just remember that this is a bonus event that JP never got, so this is kind of like extra rewards, like fun little Halloween campaign here with some extra rewards. Absolutely love it. So yeah, you can see the enemies still, you know, we've barely taken off percentage. They're still at like 17%, and we're at 80% force. But look, they're catching up to us on the force. They go quick. So I'm like, all right, we got to get into force here before they start healing up again. You can see how you could get caught in this fight at the end, especially if you're just like barely getting there at the end. I could see it being really frustrating to a player. Like, you could be getting like, maybe you get your last force time done and you get them down to like 3%. You're like, all right, I got this. And then all of a sudden, you don't have another force to power through, and you can't get through that last few percent. I could see it be frustrating, because then they're going to get another force and start healing back, and all of a sudden they're going up in percentage, and then you're basically screwed at that point. So you really got to come prepared with, you know, if you're not bringing Rinoa or Tifa, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring 2 force characters in here to have 4 force times just to be safe. Because, boy, it can be annoying if they just start to heal up. And here's the thing. They're going to get into their force time and start healing. Thank goodness. So this last, like, 13% is quite annoying. Because they're going to get in and they're going to start healing again. So I got to put big damage out here. You know, you can say, like, yeah, I got them down to, like, what, 30% or 20% off of that first force time. But that was with the burst phase and everything. We don't have the burst phase now. We gotta hit them hard and quick here. So I moonlit there. I maybe could have summoned, but I figured it's safer just to save it, because if anything, I can ramp up my percentage. Because if I save that summon all the way till the end, and you know, I get that thing up to 600, 700, 800%, we're going to be doing a 10 mil AoE, which I think at this point would just about kill them anyways. So as long as we can even just keep their HP even, but we're going to be taking them down. They're, you know, and they're not quite in the force yet. So I think it's going to go off right now, but we've got Rinoa coming up. So it's just a matter of doing the big heavy hitter damage, right? The bad part, you know, because I don't have my burst, Rinoa, other than Angel Wing, doesn't have like instant turn abilities, and Angel Wing doesn't do damage. So it's like, okay, we gotta kind of get the damage in quick here, right? And actually what it is we did get into force time just quick enough, so their force gauge actually isn't going up. So we did sneak in, but you can see if we didn't sneak in there, they would have started healing back, and it would have gotten really, really nasty. So thankfully the force gauge is holding them back. This is actually really nice here, because they're taking a bunch of turns in a row. So we're going to have that gauge up a little bit here, and they're going to be taking some fat counter damage. I think we might even kill them on counter damage here, because look at all the attacks they're taking. So this counter damage is really going to add up at 269%, right? And Gladio's going to do some fat numbers here. Yeah, like 800k, 500k, and then Core splashing in another 500k. Yeah, I think we end up killing them on counter damage. I don't know that Rinoa even gets another attack here. Maybe she does. If she does, she'll finish them off. Yeah, she'll get another attack here, I think. But I mean, the off turn's working really well here when they can't get in and start healing themselves, right? Okay. Yep, and then here, finally Rinoa, and I think this is going to be the finishing blow here. Pretty darn close to it. We'll pop an ultimate Angel Wing here. Get the off turn, throw this. This for sure should melt this enemy away. Oh, 1%. So he's going to die on the counter damage here, basically. If not, we'll just kill him on the LD here. If this doesn't kill him, Core's like follow-up that comes up is just going to... Yeah, that killed him. So, anyways, guys, there you go. That's a pretty easy win there. Like I said, had I remembered to put the code on, I would have gotten a lot more points here. The points are going to show way lower than what you'd get. And I did substitute Cloud of Darkness for Core to able to up my points and get... I got 97 on this, right? And once again, even this, the score looks really low. I think it's like 40, but it would go up a way. I don't even show it there, but it would have been a lot more had I remembered to put the code on. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.